Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm doing a Rokket deck profile for you guys. You guys have been requesting me to do an update of this like crazy. I think this deck is actually going to be like tier 2, tier 1-ish with the new format that we're going to be going into, which is going to be really fun. I'm really excited for Rockets to have their time in the sun, because this deck is a super cool, fun deck that basically makes the best Link monsters ever created, which is super exciting. But without further ado, guys, let's get straight into this. But before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad. Definitely comment down below and tell me what you think of this video, and check out the Patreon and the Ko-Fi down in the description below so you guys can donate to the channel if you would like to do so. So let's get straight on into this, guys. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Rokket Tracer Dragon. So Rokket Tracer Dragon is basically the tuner of the deck that has the ability that once per turn, you can target one card you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon a Rokket monster from your deck, except another copy of Rokket Tracer. And also, you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck for the rest of the turn except dark monsters. And you can only use the effect of Rokket Tracer Dragon once per turn. Now, this card's really cool because it can literally get you any Rokket that you need out from your deck to be able to synchro summon for a Rokket or for your Borreload Savage Dragon, which is really, really, really cool to be able to just instantly get that card out onto the field after you have a Link monster in the graveyard, of course, so you can give it those tokens. Then we play 3 copies of Magna Rokket Dragon. Magna Rokket Dragon is a really cool card as well, that a lot of the Rokket Dragons share the ability that when a Link monster's effect is activated that targets this card, you can destroy this card, and then they have a particular ability. So Magna Rokket Dragon lets you send a monster on the field to the graveyard. It doesn't target, it doesn't destroy, it just sends it to the graveyard. So it's really easy to just get rid of something on the field. This card is absolutely crazy to be able to do that, and I've loved this deck because of this card ever since it was released back in Circuit Break. So then it has the ability, all the Rockets share the ability as well, like a lot of the Rockets share the ability that during the end phase, if this card is sent to the graveyard because it was destroyed on the field or by battle or by card effect, and sent to the graveyard this turn, you can special summon another Rokket from your deck except a Magna Rokket Dragon or another copy of the particular Rokket that got destroyed. And then you can only use its effect once per turn. Each effect once per turn. Then I play 2 copies of Silver Rokket Dragon. Some people play this card at 1. I feel like 2 is the better number of this card, because when a Link monster's effect activates, it targets it on the field. Quick effect, you can destroy it as well, kind of like Magna Rokket. And then you get to look at your opponent's extra deck and banish a card from it. Because so if you're playing against a deck like, for instance, ABCs, where they only have 1 ABC Buster, you can be really mean and banish that one of ABC Buster. Or if you know they're playing a deck that plays Verte Anaconda or Crystal Needle Fiber, and you know they only have 1, you banish that one of card that they have in their extra deck that you know is totally critical to their strategy to be able to play. So this card is a really good 2 of in the deck. I really love this card because sometimes you need to hit 2 cards in their extra deck, not just 1. And so I play as a 2 of, and it is a 1900 beat stick. It does share the ability, just like Magna Rokket, that if it's destroyed by battle or by card effect, you could special summon another Rokket from your deck, which is really cool. Then we play a single copy of Metal Rokket Dragon. Metal Rokket Dragon is a neat card. I really like the way that Metal Rokket Dragon, what it does, is its effect is that if it Link monster targets it, you can destroy it, and then destroy all cards in your opponent's cards in this column. So for instance, I actually use this mat so I could show this. If it's destroyed in this column and your opponent has monsters, spells, and traps in this particular column, or Link monsters in this column, you can actually destroy every single card that they control in that column. Everything from their extra monster in the extra monster zone to any spell or trap in that particular column. So you have to kind of be careful where you summon this card because it might really come in handy. 1 copy of Rokket Recharger. I wasn't playing this card. This is the first time I've played this card in any of my deck profiles. I actually started testing this card because I was like, man, I really want to play around with some different Rokket stuff. So I started playing with this card, and it's a really good 1 of. If a dark monster you control that was special summoned from the extra deck is destroyed by battle or by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one of those destroyed monsters and then special summon a dark monster from your graveyard with a different original name from the monster that you originally targeted. So basically, if a dark monster that was special summoned from the extra deck is destroyed, you get to target a different dark monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And it also has the ability that when you control a dark monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, your opponent cannot target this card for attacks, which is pretty good because it does have 0 attack. Then we play 2 copies of Auto Rokket Dragon. Auto Rokket Dragon lets us pop set spell or send spell or trap cards that our opponent controls, just kind of like Magna Rokket Dragon pops monsters. 1 copy of Shell Rokket Dragon. Shell Rokket Dragon is pretty neat because it has the ability that you can destroy this card. Like if it's a target by a Link monster, you can destroy 1 other monster in this card's column that it was in. And if you do, destroy any monsters that are adjacent to this card. So like for instance, if it's in this column, right here, and you destroy the monster that's directly across from it, it also destroys the monsters that are here and here next to the monster you destroyed. So this card's really good to be able to just destroy like 3 monsters, which is really nice. 1 copy of a Rokket Dragon. This card is basically like a tranquilizer dart, which is pretty cool. But it has the ability that if it's destroyed, if it's targeted by a link monster, you can destroy it and then make one face-up monster on the field unable to attack, which is really cool. I like that ability. 1 copy of Rokket Synchron. I play this card because you can special summon back a level 5 or higher Dark Dragon monster from your graveyard. But its effects are negated, so basically you just want to summon like Absa Router and then be able to synchro for Borreload Savage or link it away, which is kind of cool. And then we play 3 copies of Absa Router. Now, I know some people just play this card at 1 or 2. 3 is the optimal number for me because it's so easy to summon. If you control a Rokket monster, you just instantly special summon it from your hand. And then it also has the ability that if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Rokket monster from your deck to your hand. You're always going to summon it and link it away, so why not play it at 3? Because you can just link it away. I mean, it's not that big of a deal if you end up with 1 in your hand. And by the time you set up your field, it doesn't matter if you just dead draw 1, because you're going to have a Rokket in your hand to be able to summon another one. 2 copies of Gateway Dragon is another card I play in here because it helps me get my link monsters out. You can just normal summon this card. If your opponent controls a link monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then you can only special summon Gateway Dragon once per turn. And then once per turn, you can special summon a level 4 lower Dark Dragon monster from your hand, which is really nice to be able to special summon additional dragons. And then it wouldn't be a dragon deck without our copy of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Even if this card gets the errata and the TCG, I feel like this card is still going to be a one-of in the majority of dragon decks if they don't carry it back to 3, because this card is really easy to kind of like break with the effect that it has now, but with the new effect that it's going to have, I don't feel like this card is going to be as broken as it is now, because we are going to eventually get the errata. I think it'll be on the next ban list that we'll get it, or they'll just randomly do it in the TCG database, so be on the lookout for that because it's probably going to happen at some point. But basically for now, you can just special summon in this card by banishing a dragon monster you control, and then once per turn you can special summon a dragon type monster from your hand or graveyard, which is really cool. Then we play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. The Ash Blossoms are super nice because you basically just don't have to deal with your opponent's hand or opponent's cards. You just discard this card and negate something, which is nice. It's a 1-for-1 essentially, so you play it as a 3-of. So that's it for all of the monsters, guys. I know it's a large monster count, but it is a link deck, so basically you're trying to link summon as quickly as possible, and you need monsters to link summon. So then we play, for these spells, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Called by the Grave. The Called by the Graves really help out because you don't have to deal with your opponent's hand traps. The entire deck is dark, so we play 3 copies of Super Poly because you can actually use Super Poly to go into Borreload Furious Dragon, or your Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, or use it with Verte Anaconda to be able to get rid of your opponent's monsters, which is really nice. 3 copies of World Legacy Guard Dragon, because we do play the Guard Dragons in the extra deck, and this card's basically like a Monster Reborn for any of your level 4 lower Dragon type monsters, which is super nice. And then you can move a Link monster to a different column, or to a different position on your field, which is nice as well. 1 copy of Monster Reborn, which we basically play 4 copies of with the World Legacy Guard Dragon, which is really, really cool. We play 2 copies of Boot Sector Launch. I see some people just playing 1 copy of it. I think 2 is still a good number because you want to be able to search it multiple times in the deck, or at least I do, because sometimes your opponent will destroy it, and I like the second copy of being able to put it on the field, which is super nice because all Rokket monsters gain 300 attack, and this card has an insane effect that you can special summon 2 Rokket monsters with different names from your hand in Defense Edition once per turn. Or, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon Rokket monsters with different names from your graveyard in defense position up to the difference, which is crazy. If your opponent has 5 monsters on the field and you have 0 and you activate this card, you can special summon 5 Rockets from the graveyard. That is a free Boral Sword Dragon or Boral Load Dragon or whatever you need. Like, this card is whatever you need, so I play it as a 2-of, because if I hit my 1-of, it's kind of dead and it's gone. I can't get it back. So I play it as a 2-of because you play the 2 Striker Dragons in the extra deck. Then I play a single copy of Dragon's Mirror. Dragon's Mirror is kind of like my little tech card in this deck. I don't see, again, not a lot of people play this card, but it's super good because you can summon Borreload Furious Dragon just by banishing 2 Dark Dragons in your graveyard. So it's really nice to be able to summon him off of this card, and that's what I usually summon off this card at the end of my combo, just to give me a little bit more oomph on my field. And then we play 3 copies of Quick Launch, because Quick Launch is one of the best spells in the entire deck. It lets you special summon a Rokket monster from your deck, no questions asked, but you have to destroy it during the end phase, and it can attack, which is not a big deal because you're basically just special summoning it for link material, so that's all you're really using it for. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So I'm actually not playing any traps in here. You don't really need them. You basically just are monsters and spells in here. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing a single copy of Borreload. Borreload just lets you take your opponent's monsters, and it can't be just targeted by your opponent's monsters effects, which is super cool. And then you can also reduce a monster's attack by 500, which is really, really cool. One copy of Boral Sword, which is our big OTK maker of the deck. Boral Sword basically says, hey, I'm going to OTK your opponent. Like, that's all you really have to know. It can't be destroyed by battle. Once per turn, you can target an attack monster, change its defense position, and it can make a second attack during the battle phase that you do so. And when it attacks a monster, it gains half of that opponent's monster's attack until the end of the battle phase, which is really, really nuts. And I really love that effect. One copy of Triple Burst Blast Dragon. This card is kind of like the transition into the Boral Swords, or Borreload, which is kind of nice. And it also lets you special summon by tributing it. You can special summon one level link 2 or lower monster from your graveyard, and then you can special summon a level 4 or lower dragon monster from your hand, which is really nice. Quad Boral Dragon. Quad Boral Dragon is really nice as well because you can target a you can discard a card and then target a monster on the field, and then you can't special summon link 2 or lower monster for the rest of the turn for your extra deck. But then you get to destroy the targeted monster, and if it was a link monster, you get to special summon any number of Rokket monsters with different names from your hand or graveyard up to the link rating it had. So if you destroy link 3, you can special summon three monsters, which is really cool because sometimes you'll run into situations where you'll already have linked into like a level or link 4, but you really need the other link 4, and so you'll use this card to be able to go into that or do different shenanigans and stuff like that. Deliurge Dragon, or Deliurge's Dragon. I play this as a 1-of because it just comes back. It constantly comes back. Because if you special summon, I really like the effect of if you special summon a Rokket monster on your field while this card's in your graveyard, you get to special summon it back, but banish it when it leaves the field. So it makes it a little easier to go into your link 4s with this card. One copy of Booster Dragon. Booster Dragon basically is here to transition for the link arrows. That's basically the only reason you play it, is for the link arrows and being able to target a monster on the field, and it gains 500 attack and defense, which lets you pop your Rokket monsters to be able to trigger their particular abilities, which is really nice. And if it's destroyed by battle or by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target another dragon monster in your graveyard and special summon it, which is super nice as well. One copy of Heretic Dragon, or a Seal of Heavenly Spheres. Basically, it lets you spin something on the field, which is nice. 2 copies of Striker Dragon, Searches Boot Sector Launch, which is super nice. 1 copy of Guard Dragon Pisty, and 1 copy of Guard Dragon Elpie. I really am surprised that they lived through another ban list. But we're going to keep playing them until they don't. But basically, they let you special summon a dragon monster to a zone that 2 link monsters point to, either from your hand or deck, or graveyard or deck, or graveyard or hand, which is really, really cool. I love those abilities to be able to do that. I kind of miss Agarpain in some ways, but I don't miss free Red Dragon Archfiend for everybody. We play a single copy of Verte Anaconda because it is a good link monster that basically this entire deck is dark, and it's really easy to super poly away a strong monster that our opponent has. Borreload Savage Dragon is really cool as well because you can just put a particular link monster equipped to it, and then it gains counters, and then it can negate stuff equal to the amount of counters once per turn, and it gains half the attack of the link monster that you equip to it. You can go up to 4,500 if you equip one of the Boral Sword or Borreloads to it, which is kind of nice. Borreload Furious Dragon, I really like this card as a 1-of because it's 3,000 beat stick, and then once per turn you can target a monster on the field and 1 card your opponent controls and destroy them. And you can banish this card from your graveyard to target a Dark Dragon Link monster in your graveyard and special summon it, but can't activate its effects this turn, which is not that big of a deal because sometimes you just want to swing with it or link it away for the material rank. And then Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, which is what I always summon off of the Verte Anaconda. So it just is another really big, cool dragon that we can summon. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a super fun deck to play around with. I highly recommend that you guys pick up this deck. It's pretty cheap. I would have to say pretty cheap because you can actually pick up the structure decks at Walmart for like $7.50 each. So I would have to say like the main deck is not really expensive, and the extra deck is kind of expensive because a Striker Dragon I think is like $5 or $6, but it depends on what this deck does during the meta. So it's a fairly budget deck. You can get it for definitely under $100. I guarantee you can get it for under $100. You probably get the deck, extra deck, and main deck for under $60 or $70 probably. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad. Definitely tell me what you think of this video down in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And don't forget to check out the Patreon and the Ko-Fi down in the description, guys, so you guys can donate to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.